No players, no facilities, no kit, no equipment, nothing.
Delighted to be here with Chris Wilder for a Manager of the Decade special. Chris, thanks for having us first of all. We go all the way back to Bradway FC in the Sunday League, your first taste of management. First of all, how was that experience for you, and did it fuel your desire to get into management after you finished playing?
Yeah, I'd say that I've had a bang average professional career. A couple of highlights, playing for Sheffield United, obviously my hometown club, making my debut for them, and a couple of promotions in there and playing in the old First Division. But yeah, I mean, I was satisfied with my career, but I possibly should have done a little bit more. But I've always loved football, and I used to go and watch my pals play, and sort of a natural progression really. And I believe quite a few managers have done it as well with the pals along the way, but maybe not owned up to them as much as I have. But yeah, it was the first part, getting up on a Sunday morning and picking the team and just being involved with my pals really. So it sort of went from there. But it went from there because I just loved the game. You know, if there was a game on the other side of the road, I'd go and watch it. And I think something that I've never really quite understood is how professional footballers don't like football, and there has been few of them.
And then your first official full-time job was with Alfreton Town in the 9th tier, nearly 20 years ago now. That you won 4 trophies in I think about 7 months. Could you just tell us a bit about how that job came about? Was there an interview process?
Same again. Finished through injury, retired through injury at Halifax, and still wanted to play. Was advised that I couldn't continue playing full time. So next thing was obviously playing part time. So a boy I know locally asked me to come and play for Alfreton in that period. They were having a bit of a tough time, and there was a change, and I was invited to chuck me hat in the ring in terms of would I want to take over. It's a difficult one because the boy who brought me in, I'm basically taking his job or potentially taking his job. So quite a tough decision to make. But I asked a few people, and the lad in question said, go for it if they want you to do it. They obviously knew that I'd been the initial early steps into management on a Sunday morning. That we'd had a little bit of success with that as well. So yeah, first player manager job.
Did you play yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Good club, fantastic chairman. One of the best. It's amazing. One of the best chairmen that I've had throughout my career. So from an early experience, that relationship between manager and chairman is so important and so crucial. And thankfully, I had a fantastic one there. And yeah, we went on an incredible run. And it's like momentum. They already had good players, and we got a bit of a momentum going, and we had some good players. I pulled in a couple of other players as well, a couple of pals that I'd played with as well. Boy John Beresford, Bez, who played at Newcastle. So called in a few favours, but it was a good club and a strong squad, and yeah, we had an incredible 7 months.
And then you moved on to Halifax, where you spent 6 years, managed over 300 games. It was quite a learning curve, I think, because there were a lot of financial problems. They went into administration, then liquidation. Did you? Was it true like your first day you walked in and there was no facilities, footballs or even players there? There
was nothing, no. I mean, I had a tough decision because they'd obviously just dropped out of the Football League, and I'd finished my career at Halifax. So the chief exec at the time was still there, and the club was on its knees. But thankfully it got saved by 10 local businessmen who I think all put 10 grand in each to keep it alive in the conference. So a big decision, do I stay with Alfreton with a chairman that gave me everything, and we had really good players, or do I take the leap into full-time football straight away, because obviously the conference was a real tough division, even in those days. The likes of Dagenham and Accrington Stanley and big clubs that had come out of the Football League as well that found themselves in that division, and obviously Halifax was one of them. But yeah, I walked in, No players, no facilities, no kit, no equipment, nothing. So in a way, a blank canvas, but in a way, obviously, a lot of work to do to first and foremost get a team out for the first game of the season.
You then moved to Bury under Alan Neil for 6 months. We'll get to him in a minute, but you then took the Oxford job after that, and you got them up to League Two, stabilised them in League Two. Then just when things were looking good during the playoffs, you made the quite surprise decision, I guess, to switch to Northampton, who were in the relegation zone, and I think about 6 points drift to safety. Was this a decision down to off-field reasons, or was it financial, or was it footballing reasons, or a combination of all three?
More off-field. I'd shaped that football club. It was a brilliant football club that was midway, below halfway in the conference. It's one of the things that really disappoints me, really, because I left on a real sour note, and it shouldn't have been the way, in my opinion. I didn't have the opportunity of explaining. I had to sign a confidentiality agreement to leave, so I think that speaks volumes for the reason. Second or third in the division at Christmas time, and with a budget that was not even halfway in the division. A lot of changes, a lot of people had left that had been part of my appointment. Jim Smith, Jim Rosenthal, more importantly the chairman Kelvin Thomas had departed. So a change of direction from the football club, and I think maybe the time was right as well from the supporters' point of view, that they needed a freshen up and a change. The team certainly needed an investment, which it got. I'm proud of my record at that football club, you know, to get them out of the conference, which was a difficult division. The way we did it in a playoff final in front of 34,000 Oxford United fans. And yeah, it's possibly, you know, biggest disappointment tinge. I could have done possibly better in one or two of the seasons where we missed out, but really, I was content with my achievements there. But as always, you have to look for the next challenge, and yeah, it surprised quite a few people at the time, because Northampton at the time were cut adrift at the bottom of League Two. But I think if you join the dots up, you know, to leave a club in second or third position, it's not really going to be a footballing decision. It's going to be, you know, be another decision.
What a decision it was. You saved them from relegation. I think you beat Oxford
Incredible.
On the final day, yeah. And then you top half of the table finish. Then the next season, incredible. You romped to the title. How did you change in just a couple of years, a sort of losing, sort of confidence-crushed environment to a winning one that just absolutely thrived? There was a winding up petition as well, and I don't think you were paid for a few months as well.
Yeah, incredible achievement by everybody. You know, I went into the football club and thought it had some legs in it. You know, good support, good group of players. Just needed a few players brought in. Yeah, first and foremost, looked at the fixture list, and the last game of the season was Oxford United at home, and they go 1-0 up after about 5 minutes, and you just think, oh, here we go. But no, we pulled it round. We had a great run towards the end of the season, and I was delighted. It was a major achievement, a huge achievement for everybody concerned. When you get something going in a direction where it don't want to go, to turn it round in the manner that we did was incredible. We stabilised it the next year. And then obviously the bombshell at the start of the season, we brought in players, we invested into the team. Then all of a sudden, a situation came about where players weren't getting paid. I've always said my sort of view, and I think this is where my experience at Halifax, you know, I could have sat comfortable at Alfreton in non-league, but the huge experiences that I had at Halifax Town in those 6 years, which were incredible, you know, and really now for us to have got to a playoff final in that period was, you know, head scratching really, because of the situations that we had, unfortunately. Historical debt killed the club. But as I said, the experience that I've had, and which I'm proud of and thankful, and every manager goes on their different paths, but this is certainly something that helped me in the period that we had at Northampton. Players have a decision to make, and use it as an excuse, or stick together and try and achieve something that's that's against the odds, and they certainly did that. And I've got to say as well, the PFA stepped in and looked after the football club in that point of view.
Do they pay the players?
Yeah,
wages?
they paid. Yeah, there was deferred payments, and it was obviously they weren't getting paid on time. But you know, I think the power of the PFA at the time towards their members was exceptional, and the help that they and the support that they gave the players at that time. And as I said, excuse or use it into our favour, and we certainly did that. It galvanised the football club. The biggest thing for me was the non-playing staff weren't getting paid, but you just saw at that time their undying love for the football club. People had been there for years and years, secretaries, press officers, people at work in the kitchen, people working in the ticket office, in the club shop, prepared to stick by the football club. Thankfully, my old chairman at Oxford got a consortium together and came in January, I think it was, and saved the football club. It got resolved, and the finish obviously was a magnificent finish, to finish with 99 points from that season, and yeah, very, very proud of our achievements at the time. I said, I think we've got this job. I had to make a difficult phone call, which somebody else did. You don't get prizes for spunking money. In the office on Saturday with Mikel Arteta and Steve Round, and in with Jurgen Klopp as well, so didn't go the way I'd have wanted it to. And what we've tried to do at this football club is bring everybody together. It is a powerful football club when it's all together.